All right, good morning and happy Friday, everyone. Another week in the books. All right, let's do a quick sound check here, make sure we are good to go. And we'll jump right in. As always, hope everyone had a good week. Hope you made yourself a little bit of cash. More importantly, though, hope you got a little better. A little bit better at your craft. All right, good morning, good morning. All right, guys, so quick look here at the futures. Things are a little bit mixed this morning as far as the signals. On the S&P futures, we have a daily and a 4-hour buy signal. Then we've got a 30-minute and a 15-minute sell signal. And then a couple lower time frame squeezes. We got one on the 2-hour and one on the 1-hour. And as far as the 1-hour squeeze goes, we got a 1 out of 12 on the Big 3 score. Not very impressive. All right, not super bullish, not super bearish. A little bit more neutral. Got a little hold here of the 50. Under the 21, under the trailing stop. So I think before I jump in and get long again, they got a little bit of cleanup to do here. Get rid of that 15-minute sell signal. Get rid of that 30-minute. Bring on a few more buy signals, and then we'll take it from there. And then jumping over to the NQ. NQ down a wee bit. And we have a 15-minute, 30-minute sell signal. And a 4-hour buy signal. And then for the squeeze action, we've got the 2-day squeeze, the daily squeeze, and the 2-hour. Let's go check the 2-hour. It's all right. Not knocking off my socks this morning. 3 out of 12 on the Big 3 score. Big 3 signals are neutral. The structure is neutral. And we are south of the trailing stop. So a little back and forth here. Doesn't strike me as a great morning to jump in and get long, jump in and get short. If anything, I think a bit of patience. And then we'll pull up the board here. The trustee squeeze board. And for the money makers watch list, actually, we'll do the indices first. Indices first, then the money makers. Come on now. There we go. We've got a 3-day squeeze on IWM. We have 2-day squeezes on IWM, QQQ, and the Dow. Daily squeeze on IWM, QQQ, and the Dow. And we got that big 4-hour squeeze on the QQQ. All kinds of squeeze action. All right, now the money makers. If we sort by the weekly column, we got a weekly squeeze in Google. We also got a 3-day squeeze in Google. We picked up a little bit of Best Buy yesterday. We'll cover Best Buy. I think a really good setup. And then on the 2-day time frame, you've got Microsoft, QQQ. For a daily squeeze, you got Amazon, Netflix, again, QQQ. And then on the 4-hour, Amazon, Apple. Now, Apple took a pretty good thumping yesterday. So I'm curious, where's Apple going to open? The rumor is they're getting sued by the United States. Apple gapping up a little bit. Though I still think Apple looks not the best. Leaving a little bit to be desired. All right, 4-hour on NVIDIA, 4-hour on Netflix, and again, the QQQ. So plenty to pick from there. And then that one trade we had earlier in the week, over here on Microsoft, pretty painless trade. If every trade could be that easy, I think the world would be a better place. We had our squeeze and our slingshot signal. We jumped in on Tuesday, and we cashed out yesterday for, I think it was like a 60, 70% profit. Now, in the last month or so, that's our second trade on Microsoft. The basics of swing trading. Keep your losses smaller than your winners. We took a shot back here, and we took it off on that break at the 21. I think we lost about 20-25%. And then on our second attempt here, we're making about 60 to 70. So Microsoft was good to us. You do have that 2-day squeeze, which I think should fire to the upside. So my thinking is if we can find a spot to jump back in, we've got a little profit to play with. We might take some of those profits. We might go out there to the 440, 450 call, and it maybe open up something for the earnings expiration. We got earnings coming up towards the end of April. But yeah, Microsoft was good to us. And then the one we picked up yesterday, granted, not a name I would typically focus on, but it did come up in the scans. Got to trust the scans. Best Buy. I don't think as sexy as an NVIDIA or a Google. I don't think I'm going to get as much clout trading trading Best Buy. But talk about a beautiful setup. Squeezes and buy signals on the weekly, the 3-day, the 2-day, the daily, and the 4-hour. From there, you can get that domino effect. 4-hour squeeze fires, off goes the push. From there, they might fire the daily squeeze. From there, they might fire the 2-day squeeze, and they keep the party going. We bought the April expiration 84 call. And I'm picking the 84 call based on the upside target. Right down here on the squeeze label, we have a bull target of 84.10. So my goal is I want to find the squeeze. I want to buy that out the money call somewhere near the upside target. If the target's 84, you could buy an 82 call. You could buy an 83. You can even buy the 84. The goal being buy it when it's out the money. Buy it when things are nice and cheap. And then from there, if all the squeezes can fire to the upside, you got a pretty good chance of that call ending up either at the money or in the money, which usually brings on a pretty good paycheck. Now, to our benefit, it's looking like we're going to gap up to about 83-ish. Pre-market bid and ask at 82.70 to 83. So for those of y'all in the mastery, I'm kind of inclined to take the profit here at the open. If we do indeed gap up, we caught a good entry. If we get the gift of the gap, I think we'll take the cash and we'll move on to the next one. So there's a game plan for Best Buy, and then a couple more setups here. I'm going to have to wait for a pullback on Goldman, but we finally got that breakout on GS yesterday. And that might be a record for the longest daily squeeze ever. All throughout January, all throughout February, all throughout March, you are daily squeezing, all kinds of compression, and then boom. Boom comes the breakout. I've got the $400 level marked up. They try to push it through. They're trying to push it through. They're trying for like 2 or 3 months. Then you get the gap. From here, I want a little bit of a pullback. All right, nothing huge, a little dip. And the only thing I want to see, all right, they pulled it back to a 30-minute 21 EMA. They might pull it back to an hourly 21 EMA. All I'm looking for is can previous resistance now serve as brand new support. Any dip where they can keep it above that 400. I think Goldman's got room for higher, potentially a lot higher. Brand new buy signal on the daily squeeze, which hasn't even fired yet. If they do fire the daily squeeze, next up is your 2-day squeeze. Cranking out the slingshot signal. If they can fire the 2-day, they might want to go ahead and fire the 3-day squeeze. Really good looking 3-day squeeze. And then a bit bigger picture. Pretty good looking monthly squeeze. The monthly squeeze calls for a push towards 450-ish. Let it pull back a bit. Make sure they can keep it above that 400. Previous resistance is now brand new support. And they might keep the party going. So we're keeping an eye here on Goldman. And then you got a squeeze setting up here in Eli Lilly. Got a daily squeeze, a 4-hour, a 2-hour, and a 1-hour. Now, the only thing to keep in mind, if they can get the push going, we've got our ATR trailing stop up here at 792. If they take it there, that might be one level of resistance. And of course, conveniently, it does line up here with the recent highs. If they can take it up there and flip it, get price above the trailing stop, I think the squeeze should fire. So there is Lilly, you've got Crowd, 2-day, daily, 4-hour, 5-minute squeeze, and a pretty good looking daily chart. We are above our trailing stop. The structure is bullish. We got the slingshot squeeze, and we got a 10 out of 12. Not a bad report card. There was DraftKings. And what I mean by there was DraftKings took off without me. Off she goes. What a rip. Really, really impressive stuff. And you've got that 2-day squeeze setting up as well. So they might be gunning for about $50 here. But unfortunately, I missed the DraftKings bus. From there, we got a few more here. Let me pull up the scans. Okay, the scans are going to work pre-market. I'm trying to think. Somehow I lost my notepad. Oh yeah, ELV. ELV. Little bit of ELV. Really solid multi-squeeze setup. 2-day time frame, the daily, the 4-hour, the 2-hour, the 1-hour, the 30, the 15, and the 5. Squeezing. Squeezing and squeezing. The options here were a little bit iffy from an open interest volume perspective, but I think a really good setup. So we'll keep an eye here on ELV, and then for the energy sector, waiting on a pullback. XLE, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Valero, Oxy, MPC, FANG, PXD. Pretty much everywhere you look in energy, they've all got good-looking weekly squeezes. And then better yet, a lot of them got good-looking monthly squeezes. And a monthly squeeze can certainly pack a punch. So for XLE here, right, monthly chart, above the trailing stop, structure is bullish, the squeeze is bullish, big 3 signals are bullish, big 3 score of 10 out of 12. Not too shabby. And that calls for a push into about 100 to 105-ish. I'd like a little bit of a dip, right? Good luck getting that in this market. But if we get hit by a nuclear bomb next week and the market pulls back 0.5%, there might be a chance here to pick up a little bit of that energy. And that's about it, guys. Then you got the big boys. Over here in Meta, you got a daily slingshot squeeze. Over here in the Netflix and chill, another slingshot squeeze on the daily time frame. You got Amazon. Amazon has a daily and a 4-hour. And then this one's a bit more for a later date. I think you take it and you put it in your back pocket for now. But Google. Good old Google. Admittedly, I don't love the daily chart. A little too far above that 21. We're a little too far above the 50. The 21 is below the 50. It kind of strikes me as something hanging out up here in no man's land. What I do like, though, if we flip over to the 3-day chart, not a bad squeeze. Trailing stop, structure, slingshot signal, and a 10 out of 12. And then over on the weekly time frame, Pretty big weekly squeeze. For the most part, we've had that weekly squeeze since late September. September, October, November, Diciembre, January, February, and March. Getting that good old build-up of energy. We got the slingshot coming through. Again, the problem is if I want to trade a weekly squeeze, I can't take the entry just based on the weekly chart. I got to drop down to a 3-day time frame. I got to drop down to a 2-day time frame, a daily time frame. I think a good example of a picture-perfect situation would have been energy. Where you had that weekly squeeze, you had the slingshot signal. The context was before you got that big breakout from the weekly, look at the quality of the daily time frame. It lined up beautifully. If anything, you could argue the daily squeeze triggered the weekly squeeze. You really got to get that multi-time frame alignment. So not to say Google's got a bad daily chart. I don't think I would short it, but I do think it could be a little bit better. I think we can do a bit better than that. So there's a few picks for you good people. All right, we got our best buy. And like I said, if we can catch a gap up here to 83-ish, I'm in favor of cashing out and moving on to the next one. But all right, folks, any questions, anything y'all want to take a look at? Throw it at me here in the chat, and I got you covered. And we'll try to finish out strong here today. Another name I missed was Coinbase. Beautiful rip off that 21 EMA. And I'm pretty sure you had a 4-hour squeeze here. Yeah. Indeed, you did. Definitely missed a few things this week, but we got our piece out of Microsoft. And it's looking like we're going to get our piece here out of BBY. And then one more for you, I forgot. Crude oil. That dude, crude. I still like that daily squeeze. If you check out the 1 hour here, if I can get the 1 hour buy signal, that might be the point to jump back in for another long. 21 below the 50. A little bit less than ideal. The 50 is trending lower, but we'll give them time to clean things up, rebuild a little bit of structure, and then we'll see what's up there with that daily and that 2-day squeeze. Day by day with the crude. All right, S&P futures are flat. The YM is flat. And a little bounce action here in the NQ. Who would have thunk it? All right, what do y'all got? Good morning, good morning. TP wants to look at some lows. Oh, what a push. What a push. I can't swing trade it up here. Never mind being too far above the 21 EMA. We're too far above the 3 ATR. Little too far above that extension. But what I can do, right, I can acknowledge how bullish it is. It's above the trailing stop. It's got great structure. It's got buy signals. It's a perfect 12 out of 12. It might not be in a spot where I'm going to jump in for a swing trade entry. But if anything, I can acknowledge the strength here, and then I can day trade it. If they want to keep the party going from 260 to 265, 270, 280, 300, along the way, a lot of your 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour squeezes, they should continue to fire in the direction of trend. And we got a little 5-minute here before the open. That far above that 21 EMA, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for here. I might not want to hold it overnight. But like I said, if they want to keep on pumping it, you find yourself a lower time frame squeeze and you keep on riding that donkey. Like Shrek. Oh yeah, Claudia. Yeah, Claudia, you're a lifesaver. I'm glad Claudia's paying attention. We got a few things on the economic calendar. I should have mentioned at the beginning of the call. But if we take a peek here, we got the one and the only Jerome Powell speaking at 9 o'clock. So he's on the mic right now. At 12 o'clock, we've got the Fed Vice Chair, Michael B. And then at 4 o'clock, you've got Raphael B. So a few things to keep in mind there. A little bit more JP before the weekend. But yeah, for lows, I think you find a lower time frame squeeze. And you keep on riding that momentum wave. All right, Chevron. So Chevron here. And I think it's a bit more of an energy thing than a Chevron thing. But being that energy looks really good, I think Chevron should do pretty good as well. Now, the key level here, if there's good times ahead for Chevron, they should keep that above that daily 200. 154 and change-ish. But then on the 2-day time frame, we have the 2-day squeeze setting up. We got the weekly squeeze setting up, and we've got the monthly slingshot. Now, of course, a monthly chart can take its sweet time. They're not always the fastest, but the fact we're getting the slingshot signal, that's our first heads up. They eventually might want to take that squeeze, take that for a push towards 190-ish. Yeah, I like it. I like most things in energy right now. All due to XLE. Yeah, Tim, that's my game plan here for BBY. We got the pre-market bid and ask at 82.70, 82.90. If that is true, if they're not lying to us, yeah, I think we'll probably end up taking those calls. We'll see what they're going for. We'll check out our profit, but think of it this way: we jumped in yesterday with an April expiration option, meaning we jumped in here with the willingness to give that all the way until mid-April to try to catch a push towards 84. If we can get within the neighborhood 1 day into the trade, I'm in favor of taking the cash and moving on to the next one. So we'll see where things open, but that's what I'm thinking here for BBY. Claudia, I think we'll have a double around 83.50-ish. So we might not have quite a double, but it should be somewhere, I think, in that neighborhood. I mean, really, I think 1 day into the trade, if we can take home 50, 60, 70%, I think that's pretty solid. Chan Man, thoughts on race? I want to buy one. Dude, I don't think I've ever traded Ferrari. That'd be the ultimate trade. Take a huge position on Ferrari, catch a massive move, take those profits, and then go buy a Lamborghini. I want to buy a Lambo with my my Ferrari profits. It's moving pretty good though. That must be Claudia buying all those Ferraris. That's I think that's why this thing's pushing. Yeah, good looking weekly uptrend. Got a 1 hour squeeze. Let me know here in the chat, guys. Are you Team Ferrari or Team Lamborghini? If you had to pick one to get delivered into your driveway tomorrow, what are you going with? The Rari or the Lamborghini? My vote would be both. And then maybe throw in a McLaren, throw in a couple of Corvettes, maybe a BMW M3, a BMW M4. While we're at it, a BMW M5. Heck, give me all the M's. We'll take them all. We'll take them all. The indicator update should be happening within the next 1 to 2 weeks. I shall keep you posted. But I do think you're going to like it. I'm a little bit biased, of course, but I do think y'all are going to like it. Well, all right, my friends, I'll wrap things up here. Gonna go heat up my coffee, and we'll manage our BBY. I can't say that I came into the week thinking I would be long Best Buy, but here we are. We'll take it. But hey, guys and gals, thank you for all your time this week. Really, really appreciate it. Hope you find it helpful. Hope you're having a good week on your end. Hope you have a great weekend. Be safe. Stay warm. And for those of you over here at Simpler, I'll be in the Essentials room at 12 o'clock Central for a session on exits. When to exit your options trades. Should be a good time. But again, thank you. Have a great Friday, and we'll talk soon. Adios.